With GTA Online being out for the better part of 7 years, the game has evolved and grown like no one has expected, especially Rockstar themselves. Looking back at early DLCs, it was pretty basic stuff. Some cars, some weapons, some clothing, a race or two, and well, go have fun and we'll see you next month. But as time went on and last gen got ditched, it became more ambitious and more stuff was also added. And this is where the problem starts. GTA Online was never built to be a game that would be going on for 7 years, and it's noticeable too. The loading time for starters. The other day I wanted to go and record some gameplay for videos, and I normally don't really notice it too much because I'm streaming the game and just talking to my chat in between matches. But everything just takes so unnecessarily long. First you load into single player, then you load into online. Then you try to find a race, but it's not the race that you want, so you're stuck into loading some more. Then you find a race, but the host is taking his sweet time. Then someone gets stuck on joining, so you send him a message, but then he doesn't leave, so you find another lobby. And then, when you finally are in the race you want to play, the lobby actively tries to make you kiss the wall. Fun. I wish I was joking when I say that I recorded about 16 minutes of gameplay over the span of 32 minutes. Half the time I tried to find a match to play was spent loading. This is on PS4 Pro for those interested. Now of course, all this can be prevented by hosting your own lobby, but without trying to sound like I'm Lord Gtamen, first of his name, protector of the realm, before Season 8, a regular player doesn't have a community to play with on a stream or whatever. And good luck trying to find players to play your favorite adversary mode with that came out 3 years ago. Because if there's no double money, no one is going to join you. And yes, that's the heart of GTA Online's content problem in itself. Everyone is so heavily focused on making money that no one plays stuff for fun, unless it's races. It's all about making money for people, which is very understandable of course, because if I were to take a guess, 5% of the player base is above 10 million and the rest just cries of joy when Rockstar gives them $500,000. You know, pity money. Even more is the vast amount of content in the game that doesn't help either, and for those who've seen the video that I've done 2 years ago, you will know what I'm about to say. GTA Online has too much content. In February of 2018, Kotaku released an article highlighting just how much content there actually is. Back in February of 2018, there was actually already over 580 jobs to play. Since then, more DLC has come out. More vehicles, more businesses, more clutter in the game that seems to be so unnecessary. Example time, the Terabyte. Why was this ever released? It's literally the MOC, but slightly different. A purchasable upgrade to the MOC would have done the trick. All the heists that came out after the original. We have an apartment with a planning board. Do I really need to travel to bumfuck nowhere to get a rocket out of Avon's ass? Lester has trouble walking and we make him travel all the way up north to a cold underground facility, but my apartment is around the corner of his factory and where the arcade is literal meters away from the Eclipse Tower where you can host the original heists. The Arena War Garage. Benny is a perfectly fine mechanic. Hell, the new guy does his job. Every single DLC has a new property to buy. Why do I need to buy an entire casino penthouse to become a high roller? Sure, the place looks awesome, but when is the last time you used it for anything else than a spawn location? Aren't these resources better spent fleshing out actual gameplay elements of the DLC? Oh wait, Casino DLC had 6 story missions and slot machines that half of the world couldn't access, but at least I get to spin my wheel every Thursday for some brand new clothing. And then there's all the game modes in the game. There's over 600 different maps and game modes combination. Now allow me to list all the game modes that are dead. Target Assault, Captures, Last Team Standing, if you don't count Snipers vs Stunters, Survivals, Versus Missions, Adversary modes, and parachuting. That's 173 out of the over 600 jobs. That's over a quarter of all the jobs, just laying there, taking up space, until a distant sound appears out of the darkness. double money! Jokes aside though, to blame this purely on a double money would be unfair, because a lot of these game modes aren't really that fleshed out at all, especially the adversary modes. Oh boy, are you ready for another lightning round of example time? Air quota. Beep 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 beep. Bambushka run. What the fuck? The bunker adversary modes, where they decided to have existing game modes and actually give them a good map, come out to play. Unplayable on assisted aim. There are people on bikes and you can lock onto them. Dawn raid, essentially drop zone but slightly different and more annoying. Dogfight. Beep 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 beep. Drop zone. Dawn raid but better. Entourage. The attacking team has the worst weapons in the game, while the defending team has one of the best weapons in the game. Extraction, aka the game mode where the escaping team always wins. Hunting Pack Remix, should never had a remix. Hunting Pack, pretty fun, but unbalanced. In and out, inch by inch. Practically the same game mode, but pretty okay. Juggernaut, okay, but definitely on the unbalanced side of things. Keep the pace, tracks are way too short and constantly having slipstream, I think I'm fine. Kill quota, one of the better ones, but would have been nice to have more variety in terms of weapons. Land grab, you spend most of the time trying to get to the enemy's base so you get enough points in order to win the match. But unfortunately for you, the team always spawns in one place, thus meaning that you will constantly go back and forth to enemy bases and also run the risk of spawn trapping enemy teams, thus making that, for them, very boring to play. Lost vs Damned, horribly unbalanced in assisted aim. You're locking onto a man with an axe in his hand. Missile-based adversary modes, bunker adversary modes, but in a much worse map. Moda Wars, Battle Royale is best played in Call of Duty. Occupy, the beta version of King of the Hill that wasn't that great. Overtime Rumble, a pretty exciting game mode which definitely is fun with friends and probably makes you lose a few friendships along the way. Overtime Shootout, is it my turn yet? Power Mad, it's like Power Play but worse. Power Play, Team Deathmatch but with modifiers, pretty fun. Relay, once again the tracks are too short. Rhino Hunt, there are 3 maps for a reason, oh my god, this shit is unbalanced. Running Back, the remix. Shouldn't have had a remix. Running Back, done even quicker than you were with your girlfriend last night. Siege Mentality, pretty fun game mode with mixing results depending on what team you're playing with. Slasher, you probably shouldn't be able to melee the guy with the shotgun. Slashers, it's Slasher, but slightly different. Slipstream, I hate Slipstream. Stockpile, beep 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 beep. Sumo remix, slightly different than Sumo, but I'd say that the previous version was better. Sumo, better than the remix version. Till Death Do Us Part. Way too much health, and the necessity of always sticking together gets really annoying, especially if you're playing with randoms. Tiny Racers got a lot more hate than it needed to get. It was pretty okay, but it wasn't super great. Trading Places remix. Shouldn't have had a remix. Trapdoor. The maps are probably a little bit on the larger side, which is a little bit unnecessary, especially in 16 players. Turf Wars. Just keep on driving circles, maybe you'll win. Aside from the long list of adversary modes, the other game modes aren't that fleshed out either. In reality, the adversary modes that I class as pretty good are all a variation of Team Deathmatch, with a lot of them just lacking depth and still having some minor issues which are easily overlooked. And that goes for a lot of the other game modes too. Wouldn't it have been cool to have a GTA variation of Target Assault? It becomes a lot more exciting and intense when you get to fire at each other rather than just driving a circle and just shooting some targets. Where are more maps for King of the Hill? It's a great game mode, but it wouldn't really hurt to have some more maps. Premium races, when is the last time you got some new ones? And also, where are the premium death matches? Premium game modes in general would be great. Slap $100,000 buy-in on a game mode and let people walk away with 200 to 300k. Or at the very least, let us do premium races more often. Because it makes racing so much more interesting when you have races with a big stake. Now, of course, nowadays you're better off just playing stunt races when they're double or triple cash for the same kind of payout. And then there's arguably one of the biggest issues with the amount of content of this game, and that is the menus. In regular races, you can sort by land, sea, air, and even bike races. But in stunt races, you're gonna have to spend a minute scrolling down to the map that you want to play on. A simple fix to allow people to filter by stunts, transform, special vehicle races, etc. would go a very long way. And please increase the speed of the scrolling. Please, I beg of you, it's so slow. please. There's so many jobs. Just let me scroll just a little bit faster. Thank you. Though credit must be given to Rockstar for cleaning up the interaction menu a couple of patches ago. Having the MLC etc. under one tab is a very welcomed improvement. One thing I'd say that would really help the game or even GTA 6 is the addition of limited time modes. If you look at RDO and the featured playlist that they have, where every week there's a new game mode in there. If Rockstar were to do this to GTA Online, then I think there would be less clutter in the game and more excitement for when a game were to be returning. Let's say for example that they would have King of the Hill rotation and mix it up with some races in there too. Slap some double cash on it and have more people explore lesser known game modes through that too. I remember back in the day Rockstar used to have specific Rockstar playlists with double money. They could do the same thing with this featured series type of deal with a mix of game modes. To give an example of a game outside of GTA Online would be Modern Warfare, you know, the Call of Duty game. They do it pretty well. Every Tuesday there is a set of new playlists. Gun Game, for example, had a new set of weapons to use within the game mode, thus refreshing the game mode and making it worth playing again. Also Gunfight 3v3 with knives only, which adds some more spice to it as well. All this stuff is on the main page as soon as you enter multiplayer, but in GTA Online you have to go out of your way to get to the game modes that are double cash. And yes, by design, Call of Duty Modern Warfare and GTA Online are vastly different games. But wouldn't the game benefit from having a playlist type menu like they have in RDO or in Max Payne 3, where you just select the game mode to play and you let the game sort out the maps rather than the hundreds of throwaway maps and game modes combinations. Now of course, we definitely don't want to go down the Red Dead Online route where there's only 3 maps for each mode and good luck, because that is just simply going to get stale quick. But I do feel that Rockstar could learn an awful lot from how they've handled previous titles, but also from GTA Online, because GTA Online right now gets stuff added every single patch, but Rockstar just seems to be very hesitant about looking back how they will make the overall game better. Which is understandable 7 years in, but at the very least we can hope that they will do the right thing for GTA 6's multiplayer. But those are just some of my thoughts. Of course, I'd love to hear what you think in the comments down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more, and I'll see you all later.